IRS MTM. We have done several exercises and learned to price quite a few varieties of interest rate swaps in the earlier videos. You must feel pretty confident about your ability to price IRS now. We will move ahead and understand how to mark to market an existing IRS. Once you enter into a swap, you can cancel or unwind the swap at any time. MTM calculations tells us what is the value of the swap. In case you decide to cancel the swap, then the MTM tells us the amount you will get or you will have to pay for cancelling it. As stated earlier, most swap traders MTM the swaps in their portfolios on a regular basis. Let's now understand how to value a swap or how to find the MTM of a swap. The process is very simple. Ignore all cash flows that have already taken place. We are only interested in cash flows that will take place in future. Valuation is all about the future cash flows. MTM is about generating all the future cash flows and finding out the NPV. Let's look at the steps involved in working out the MTM. Since you are doing MTM of an existing swap, we know the fixed rate and hence fixed side cash flows are very easy to generate. We know P, R and T for each of the future coupons. Floating side cash flows will be generated by generating FRAs in the same way we used in IRS pricing. You will be using the current DF curve for these calculations. One key exception is that when it comes to the current interest period, this period would have started sometime in the past, but the cash flow would be happening sometime in future. Let's do an MTM for a 3-year semi-semi swap that we had transacted on 4th Jan 2010. Remember the first exercise? The fixed rate was 4.2%. Let's say that we are looking at this swap today and the current spot date is 4th August 2010. One interest payment for period 4th Jan 2010 to 5th July 2010 has already taken place. The rate fixing for the second coupon has also happened on 1st July 2010 and hence when we look at the floating rate for 5th July 2010 to 4th Jan 2011 period, it cannot be generated using the DF formula. It has already been fixed and we need to know what that fixing was. In this exercise, we will assume that 6-month LIBOR fixing done on 1st July 2010 was 3.9%. Let's generate all the floating cash flows and fixed cash flows. Work out the PV of floating and fixed along with cash flow signs and add them to work out the NPV. You will need to interpolate the DFs here. Use the dates and DFs provided here for doing all the calculations. The cash flow dates for the swap is already known, so we need to use the same dates. Do you want to make an attempt to solve it? You can pause the video here and try. Let's work out the MTM of the swap. We will assume that this is the DF coming from the current yield curve. The spot